Immediately after the abstracts, then we move to the main body of the project. That is the part of the report where you would be telling the reader, the institution, your department, what you have actually done from the background study up to the references or back matter of the project. So, and this part too has to be arranged in a chronological order following the standard accepted. So this part is very, very important because it's the part that actually tell us what you have done and how you have done it and the methods that you have actually followed. It has a structure. So every institution or department tends to have their stipulated format, which you have to follow as a student. You have to adhere to it strictly. What I am saying here is the general standard. Departments or school usually have little variation, and what I'm covering here would be maybe 80% to 85% of the standard. So you can imagine the little, just 10% or 5% that might be the variation by your institution. If you did not follow it, of course, you are not still in line. So you have to also consult your department to see if they have little variations and which must they adhere to. So some institutions prefer a total of 5 chapters, and others have a total of 6 chapters. However, the first 3 chapters is generally the same across the school or department globally. So this section has its structure like this. The first chapter 1, is usually the introduction chapter, and it contains overview of the study, the statement of the research problem, the scope of research, the aim and objective, justification, and other relevant information that could be of good background to the research. So it has the following components as I've mentioned earlier: the background, the clear research objectives, the hypothesis, the overview of the manuscripts, and all. And you have to also add references to some of these chapters, particularly the background, so that we get to know the sources of your evidences. Then chapter 2, usually the literature review. So in this chapter, the student, you are mandated to highlight the previous work, that is the previous researchers that has done 1 or 2 things in this very research area that you are trying to undertake your own research or that you are reporting. So the review is done critically from past till present, and you have to also present the gap in knowledge, that is the research gap. So the research gap is what you are trying to fill in your current research. Of course, there will always be a need for development, a need for adjustment, a need for update, which usually referred to as a research gap, and your whole research will fall under the gap in knowledge. So literature review must be well and adequately cited, and with references that is up to date. It's usually preferred to have a reference that is not later than 5 years. So this is the summary of this very chapter. Then the chapter 3 is your real work. That is the chapter that is presenting what you have done, how you have done it, the materials that you have used, the tools that you have used, the methodology, the means of data collection, the equipment that you have used, and all. So it's essential to explain how the research was conducted, ensuring reproducibility and transparency. Of course, since this chapter is the chapter that is presenting how you have done the work, the methods you have used, and the materials, it is a chapter that if anybody picks up the work, they should find it reproducible. So that shows the quality and the transparency in your work.